Hello, so today we're going to be going over the code for my Unit 4 project, the Song Shuffler. So, quick overview of how I code. I use IDEs like this. This is called PyCharm. This is not a Song Shuffler code. This is something completely different. Previous project from a while ago. This is my home computer, so I don't have the code from my laptop, my MacBook, but on my MacBook I have the PyCharm code that I made, which is like basically the exact same as this. So my first version, I wanted to input all the songs to make sure when I switched it over to Colab to be like this, I wouldn't need to worry about changing like the for iron range, how many songs, and like the random generation. But essentially what I did the first time was I used zipping of files. So I had all the songs here and all the genres lined up perfectly, right? Dark Queen, hip hop, ICU, alternative, Forget Her, alternative, etc., etc., etc. going on. And then I created a new variable here which would equal to a list zip, like a zip list. So what zipping does is it combines it's like zipper merging on a road, right? It alternates which one it picks from. So it'll pick from songs first, then it'll go to genres, then alternate, and then random shuffle, it just shuffles it. But the songs and genres, because it was zipped together, the songs and genres will stay attached, quote unquote, to each other. Then zip star will unzip it, so long as you put songs comma genres equal zip star, and then the star will just get rid of the brackets. And then how many songs, that's just gonna say whether or not that's just going to see how many songs you want to print. And in this version, you can only pick from 1 to 120 songs. Because otherwise, you would go over the number of songs that there are, because there's 120 songs. It shuffles them. It does not pick at random. So if you do 120, you're going to get the exact theoretical probability. Then this is number. That's I'm using that to index to songs and genres to make sure they index to the correct and same thing, right? And then we have the genres: rock, alt, hip hop, pop, R&B, instrumental. And then we have for I in range, how many songs. That's just repeating. So for I in range of this integer, right? Because we had how many songs be equal to an integer input. Sorry about that. And it would just print it for every single one of these. Then it'll check, it'll index to this genre number, and it'll be like, oh, is it rock, is it alternative, hip hop, pop, R&B, or instrumental? If then else if. The reason why you want to do else if is it saves the computer time, because if it's rock, then it won't do the next one. It won't do these ones. If it's alternative, it won't do these ones. Like it'll break there's a block called break in loops, and that's basically what it's doing, except break in blocks completely stops the code. And then I just have it print out how many rock songs, how many alt songs, how many hip hop songs, etc., etc. Then I was like, well, you're only limited to 120 songs. What if you want like 1,000 songs? So I just switched up from being random shuffling to what the final product is gonna look like. So same thing, same songs, genres, same how many songs, right? Integer input should print This is just the person, if they want to print the songs or not. And then will print is equal to true. I just set it to be true the first time, so it knows it's a boolean. If should print equals y, which is what this means. This is that is supposed to tell the user that those are the inputs you want. If it's y, will print is equal to true, else will print is equal to false. You don't have to do else if n equal false, because if it's anything other than y, if it's n, capital N, whatever, it'll just make it false. And then, alright, number is equal to 0, but I didn't need to do that. I should have gotten rid of that, because that's technically redundant, because there's no number plus 1. Oh, no, I apologize. It isn't needed. I'm tired of that 727. Like, they will do that to you. Anyways, genre, whatever. For in range, how many songs? This is where it becomes begins to differ. Here, it would just print and then increment. Print, check for genre, increment that genre, and then increment the number. Here, it'll generate a random integer between 0 and 119. The reason why you start at 0 is because computers don't start at 1. Computers start at 0, then they count up from there. So you're going to start at 0 instead of 1, so you got to subtract 1 from the largest value you have, which is 120. So it's 119 instead of 120. And then if will print is just basically saying, oh, do they want me to print it? And if will print is just a shorter hand of saying if will print is equal to true, then it'll print this. But if will print is the exact same thing as equal to true, it's just shorter. Then print the song number indexed at that, and then genre indexed. And then if genre number is equal to rock, rock plus 1, yada yada, that's the exact same. Then oh shit. Same thing here. Song number plus 1. I was showing somebody an example of how, because they wanted to print out the song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4, song 5. So I showed them how to increment by creating a variable beforehand and then putting song underscore number plus equals 1, incrementation, and then the same print at the bottom. And then the final form, there's a couple major changes here. First, this top part, boom. This top part right here. So this we got from class. They gave us a doc, and we would copy and paste this into our code. What it does is, well, first of all, the import random we added, I think. Import IO, import pandas, SPD, Google Colab, import files. This allows us to choose a file. Cancel. I would have hit run anyway, but I haven't downloaded the CSV file for the slides, for the sheets on this computer. So yeah, this is basically just gonna read the sheets and say, okay, at this column, define. So df is define. I kind of understand this stuff, not a lot though. Df is usually define, or is it def? I don't remember. But this is basically just saying, okay, this column has this title, so for every input, every row that has, like, every row is an input, but it's like the boxes in that row in that column. So it's like, so basically, if I have something with this as the title of the column, then everything in column A, right, if all these have numbers, right? And then it'll just input these 30 things, right? It'll be like, okay, and then it'll print it, it'll make the values like this. It's becomes an array, so it'll become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., 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 until the bracket ends, right? So that's basically what this is doing. And then it does it for genres too, and then I made this playlist is equal to an array. That is something that I added in, which we'll be looking at later. How many songs? This is the exact same stuff. How many songs? I just got rid of should print, will print, whatever, because this will always print your songs, but it'll print your songs after the number of times the songs show up and the experimental probability of those genres showing up. So we have the genres for I in range, same thing, number generation, playlist dot append. So this is something that I added in. So this is appending a playlist, appending an array will put that value that you're putting into that array at the very end. So if I want to, so say we have I'm still standing, right? I'm just gonna do standing, right? And that's Elton John, right? Elton. And then so in here in the array it'll go parentheses, quote, standing Elton John, quote, comma, space, the next song which you're appending I don't know, Never Gonna Give You Up, Rick Astley, Never Astley, and then append again, it'll go to the end. So that's basically what appending means. And then yeah, and then if genres, that's just genre tracking, and then this is the printout. So that's just aesthetics, print string plus rock, same thing. For all of these I wanted to have the numbers be on the leftmost column, so it's easiest to look at. Instead of having to track your eye to the numbers, it'll always be on the left side, which is a lot easier to look at, in my opinion. And at the farthest most left side. So explaining this now, I don't think I rounded, no, I didn't have that there. But so string, right, that just turns this integer, well technically it's a floating point, into a string, which will allow it to be added to other strings. Round, we'll round this, so rock divided by how many songs, right? Rock is what we get here, number of times rock has showed up, divided by how many songs, which is the number of total songs in the playlist. So by doing that, we get a decimal. Then we want it to become percentage, which you multiply by 100, and then that's all in parentheses there, and then this blue parentheses, this rounding parentheses, you put a comma to indicate that that's the thing you want to round, and then the 2 is how many digits you want to round it to. And then I do that for all the genres, and then I print this, right? This is all the experimental blah blah, and then print, this is your playlist, print, and then the star playlist is the same as the star songs and genres. That just gets rid of the brackets and curly brackets, and then comma equal separated by, this just basically means new line. So yeah, this is for 1,000 songs. This is what I ran last on my computer, like my school computer. It should be the same probabilities that's on the slide. I think it's the exact same. Because, yeah, it is. Funny. I mean, it's not funny because it's, I don't know. Anyways, So it'll print out number of songs, then the probabilities, and then you have your playlist, right? Boom, boom, boom. You have your song dash genre, song dash genre, song dash genre, and it just goes on and on and on and on for your 1,000 songs. The only thing that I think could be better is the fact that it pushes you down to the very bottom, like right after you run the program, which is a little annoying when most of your information is at the top. But that is what Handout 6 wanted us to do, so that's just how I did it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped in any way it can. Really just enjoy coding. It's genuinely really fun. Yeah, have a nice day.